Questions are the answer? Stay tuned to find out what I'm on about. In the meantime, let's catch this video. Welcome back. Before we get too far into the show today about questions are the answer, if you're watching this on a replay, hashtag replay, let us know where you're coming from. If you're here live today, thank you for being here, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening. I appreciate you being here. If you know of somebody that would benefit by getting their message out to the world and you think this is a great platform, introduce them to me. So what do I mean by questions are the answer? Whether you're in sales, a leadership role, parents, actually, let's start at parenting. Not that I've ever been a full-time parent, but I've had a bunch of rent-a-kids along the course of my life. And what I find is the one who asks the questions has control of the opportunity or the situation. Think of a young person, preteen. They want something. They're emotionally attached to it. They've got the burning desire. It's like they've read and assimilated Think and Grow Rich, but they probably haven't. But they've got that burning desire to a desired end result that they're looking for. And how do they get there? Well, they ask questions. And one of the most frequent asked questions by them is why? Why is the sky blue? Why is why can't I have ice cream? But in the world of professional leadership and selling, why is probably one of the worst questions to ever ask, according to people that I've studied along the way. Substitute why to what or how type questions, because the reason the why question is not a great one is because we've been bombarded by that why question, or we've been reprimanded by, why did you come home late? Why did you wreck the car? Why did you get a lousy mark? So don't ask people a why question if you want to inspire them to take action with an idea that you're supporting or sponsoring. The 6 silent soldiers are great. Who, what, when, where, how. So I guess that's only 5 because we're not going to use the why anymore, right? And we know why we're not going to use the why, right? Anyway, when I was starting off in probably my 3rd or 4th business at the time, I was in the printing business, and I decided that I wanted to not be in the operations and production side. I wanted to get into sales leadership. And I was introduced to J. Douglas Edwards. It's a cassette program. And he said, questions are the answer. So I studied what he had to say, and what I found to be true over the several decades I've been in a leadership role, sales profession, is questions really are the answer, aren't they? Because the one who's asking the questions is in control. Even a good doctor asks great questions, don't they? If they don't ask great questions, then they could be prescribing something that's not suitable. An acquaintance of mine in the business coaching space out of Guatemala actually had a really good example. We were in Vancouver, British Columbia about 5 or 6 years ago, and he shared a story about this very thing. And the story was he had a back issue. He had a pain in the back, and he went to his doctor, and doctor did an exam, asked some questions, and diagnosed some anti-inflammatories and some painkillers, and said, in a couple of weeks, it should be good. Well, the pain wasn't getting any better, and the prescribed medicine didn't seem to have a positive impact. So he thought, well, I'll get another opinion. So he went to another doctor. The doctor did a more in-depth question process, deeper diagnosis. I think he even took some exams, and it turns out he had a fractured vertebrae. So it didn't matter how many pills he was going to take. It wasn't going to alleviate the pain in a way that made sense. So the lesson in that is, if you're professional in your leadership style or your sales role, asking questions is an art, is probably the most important part of the process of selling or leadership. Because if you ask great questions, then you can fulfill the objective that you have in mind. So let's just stick to the sales profession. I'm in the sales training business, and I've studied numerous great people. And along the way, one of them was Brian Tracy. And he created this upside down triangle. Some say it's a funnel. I just call it upside down triangle. He's segmented it into 4 sections. And before you get to the close, you need to understand a whole bunch of other stuff first. So if we can spend time doing a deeper, better, accurate diagnosis of the person's situation by asking questions, and you could get into what type of questions. There's open questions, and there's a closed question, and there's the go for no question, like asking a no-based question. When they answer no, they're actually saying yes. I'm not going to go into a deep dive of what that looks like today, but if you can get people to say no in a positive sort of way, you'll have much greater success. You can ask what I call barometer type questions, or if you go back to the doctor example, you're getting a litmus test as to where they're at in the process of making a decision, or even if they're a prospect. Selling somebody something that they don't need or want doesn't make much sense. That's not very professional. However, if you can uncover where they have some room for growth, then providing a solution to them in the most effective way is a great thing to do. And how do you get there? It's by asking questions. Quite often, in the space I'm in, we use the word gap. So where are they today? What's their current reality? And where do they want to be tomorrow, ideally? And if we can help them by understanding their situation, and how do we get that to the place where we can understand their situation? By asking questions, right? Yeah, exactly. Asking questions is really the answer to understanding people at a deeper level. And if you can pull back the skin to the get to the core of their being, like if you look at an onion, peeling back the different layers and getting to the core of their being, not only would you have a friend for life, maybe a business associate for life, you'd have such a great feeling because you've been able to help somebody live a little bit better life because of the ideas and things that you've shared. If you have questions about the business renovators, by all means, shoot them to me. My information is right here. Coach Phil at, pardon me, it's phil@coachphil.ca. I was looking at the website and thinking email doesn't work that way, does it? And look at that. There's my buddy, Kellen Ann, who has an amazing story in her own right. I need to get her back on and update her journey, because she no longer lives in the western side of the U.S. She's now in, I would say, the east, but I've been told she's in the southern part of the U.S., which is east of California, but it's not considered the east. Anyway, she's a brilliant individual and a good friend. So questions are the answers. If you invest the time in coming up with the questions that will get you to understand and help you understand the people you're talking to, the people you're leading, people maybe you're selling, people you're providing solutions to, just think of how powerful that would be for you to understand both at a personal level and professional level, if they were to achieve their objectives, and you to understand that by peeling back the layers of the onion to get to their core, so that you can then provide them with some solutions, a prescription that makes their life a little bit better because they engaged with you. Think about that. Wouldn't it make sense to become better at asking questions so that you can understand what's really going on in their being? Questions are the answer. One last thing before I go off the air for today is I want to share something with you from a mentor of mine from several decades ago. I'm just trying to locate it in my right here. I want you to go and act today, tomorrow, this week, the rest of the month, maybe the rest of your life, thinking about you and how wonderful you are, because you are unique. Have a terrific day.